All right, let's try this again, YouTube, because y'all think I'm playing. I ain't playing. Can nobody make no damn vaccine mandatory? I repeat, the government, what we call the government, what you think's the government, the agencies that perpetrate its government cannot make anything mandatory. They can't. I mean, if you're not an employee for them, if you don't work for them, employed for them, then you tell them what to do. They work for you. Now, how the hell are they going to make something mandatory to you? They can't even make shit mandatory to their own employees, man. I'm telling you right now that they can't even come up to them peoples and so much as give them a drug test after they done fucked up a whole bunch of shit, wrecked into a whole bunch of shit, fucked up everything. They tear up a whole bunch of shit, and hey, they can't even come up and give them a drug test because that's a line of questioning, and they have a right to an attorney be present for that. Okay? They cannot make nothing mandatory like that. So what is it, YouTube? Is that medical misinformation right there? How am I lying to them? How is that misinformation? Explain that shit. You can't. But I'm waiting still. I'm still waiting. I'm gonna be here all day. Let's get into it because I'm gonna bust it. I got this too. You woke up the giant now. You should have let the sleeping dog lie. I was fucking being cool. I'd stayed up off of these topics and shit, man, because I was like, oh, no, fuck it. Here we go.
Numbers of Americans are getting vaccinated against the coronavirus.
The U.S., the most vaccinated large nation in the world.
Dozens of countries are now working to vaccinate their populations in an effort to end the global pandemic.
President Biden says that by the end of his first 100 days, the United States is aiming to have administered 200 million doses. And by May 2021, every American adult who wants one will be eligible to get in line for a shot. That said, 30% of U.S. adults still don't want to get the COVID vaccine.
Okay.
But they may not have much of a choice.
Oh, the federal government she just told you a lie. Well, I guess not, because she said you may not have much of a choice. I mean, may. Mike grows on chicken's ass. What the f*** is that? We don't have no time for that, man. Get that shit out of here. That don't mean nothing. It don't mean shit, and it damn sure don't prove me to be misinforming the people. All the motherfucking government can do is make a recommendation. They can provide some guidance for you. Give you their advice, their opinion. None of that shit. Does any of that sound like law? I didn't think so.
Can require vaccination and things like that for coming in and out of the country. Both the state and city can have vaccine laws based on their legislative authority.
Requiring a vaccine is a health
and you gave them that authority, right? Correct. So it's just the same fucking thing. Now they can compel you. I mean, we all should be aware of that. They can incentivize and compel and all of that damn dumb shit. But they cannot mandate it. Now, don't get me twisted up. I didn't say nothing about no damn job. If you have a job, then you're buying into the dumb shit. And yes, they can make that shit mandatory for your ass, or tell you to get fucked. You know, that's part of it. I mean, you're indulging in criminal activity when you're doing that. I'm trying to tell you that. That's why you have to pay taxes on that shit, because you're indulging in criminal activity. Then that's why when you get a license, it's licentious behavior. You're admitting by taking that motherfucker that you're doing shit you ain't got no business. That's what you're doing as soon as you take it. So, I mean, I'm not the one who's doing. I'm just trying to let you know. I'm trying to fill you in. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to fool your ass, and we ain't got time for that. Like I said, the authorization came from me and you. So what the fuck is this dude talking about? I mean, they can't tell you nothing. They can't tell you shit. You tell them what to do. That's really how it's supposed to go. That you're the only person that can. I mean, if you can't be working, you can't be working with somebody and then show up there and tell them what you're gonna do. You see what I'm saying? No, it don't work like that. You got a job. You got to listen to what they tell you and shit, all of that. You ain't supposed to be doing that. Like I told you, you supposed to be... And I can show you how to get lawful money, man. Every time that the fucking corporation sends you some indica on that printed paper that is circumstantial evidence and to denote payment of something... It's circumstantial evidence of something that might have been done that hadn't been fucking done. Bottom line, that ain't fucking payment on there. And if you're the addressee, which, if that shit has your name on it, or your corporate name, or however you want to put it, that shit's in your box, well then, damn it, there's a $300 fee right there for the fact that they didn't put no fucking postage on it. So boom, booyah! There's your money right there. There go your money right there. Every fucking day. They get you some pharma. Yeah. If you're the addressee, then fucking go get your money, man. $300. I mean, they gotta have it. They all have a corporate account. Every fucking person, person that works. Because if it ain't a man or woman, then and they're not send that shit to their grandmama or something. That shit's coming to you in a damn printed paper with some circumstantial evidence on there that you know could be true, but we know it ain't. And that's why when the fucking for instance, everybody just got one from Biden, got like a little fucking paper. What he just trying to send you a fucking $300 and tell you, like he told you at his inauguration, that this is what the government is designed to do. To feed you, to provide the fucking general welfare of the people and pay all the debts and protect your property and shit. That's what he said. He said that we have the best thing going. We can take care of our peoples. So to prove it, he sent you a piece of paper to let you know that, hey, every time one of these fuckers sends you some shit, it's $300. See what I mean? That's what he said on. I mean, they put it on there for you. They tell you that that's $300 thing, $300 fee for trying to slide that shit in on you on a private and on the cool. They're trying to send it to you private, so they don't have to pay the postage. That's what they're doing. But you go up in there and the lady gonna tell you, oh, that don't have nothing to do with you. That's what she told me last time I was in there, man. And I just thought about that again just yesterday, the day before that, and I was thinking to myself, man, I'm not gonna have. It's not gonna be no problem when I go in there this time. No problem. I already know it ain't gonna be no problem. Because, I mean, bitch can't tell me that shit. I'm ready for it this time. I didn't know about that indica last time. I mean, I had to come back. I had to go back to the drawing board. But I got that ass this time. And I'm ready, man. I'm ready now, dude. And I will not be denied. Can't deny me. I just told you how to do it. You got to go down there with your motherfucking social security number and get your business handled, man. That's what I'm going to do. And when I get my passport and shit, I'm going to put it on here because I'm going to get it done. That's all there is to it. And then, YouTube, you're really going to have a fucking problem. Because, see, then I'm going to have standing and status. And I'm going to be able to motherfucking pursue your ass for trying to fucking harm me, man. Because you're doing me injury right now. So keep it up.
And employers can do that.
Bonnie Jacobson knows this all too well. The Brooklyn resident was recently let go from her job after refusing to get inoculated.
Well,
I was sitting at home and I all of a sudden just opened an email. I'm sitting on my couch and it said, basically, while we respect your decision at this time, your employment has been terminated.
So can you actually be forced to take the COVID vaccine against your will
No.
in the United States?
No.
To be clear, the White House's chief medical advisor has already said that he doesn't think the federal government will ever make the COVID vaccine mandatory.
Because they can't.
Powers at the city and state level, not to mention the legal rights granted to employers under U.S. labor law, may make it pretty difficult for some Americans to evade inoculation against the
It's just like anything else. You can contract away your fucking... They'll let you contract your shit away. You know what I mean? Because that's how they do it. But... Nah, that's why I said they gotta have your consent. That's why I said it. So where's the misinformation at, YouTube? Still waiting.
Coronavirus. This isn't as unprecedented as you might think. There are a lot of required inoculations which are easy to take for granted. Just take the chicken pox. All 50 states
A
and the
requirement
District
is
of
not a
Columbia
mandate.
have laws requiring children entering childcare or public schools to have some sort of provable protection against the disease, whether that's a vaccine or evidence of immunity. In fact, schools from preschool through university typically require a battery of inoculations before you can step foot on campus.
When I was a health commissioner in Washington, D.C., we had passed laws that required anyone who went to a school to be vaccinated against certain preventable diseases.
There are religious, medical, and philosophical exemptions that vary state by state. But for around 170 years, America's schools have done a pretty thorough job controlling vaccine-preventable disease in the U.S. The very first school vaccination mandate was in Massachusetts back in the 1850s. It was to protect against smallpox transmission. By the start of the 20th century, almost half of all states required students to be vaccinated before matriculating. In the early 1970s,
they say that shit like there was like a whole bunch of people here in 1850, dude. I'm telling you right now, there wasn't in 1896. They were advertising, trying to get people to come to Arkansas. I know that for a fact, Jack. And I mean, you go further west. I mean, I would exclude California, of course, but till you got to there, I'm going to say that no, there was not no whole bunch of motherfucking people, man. But they put that stat out there like 170 years they've been doing this and that and the other thing and pumping them. No, dude, no, that fucking more deceit. Do your research and you'll know. I mean, shit, they're just the fuck, man. There wasn't that much peoples. They wasn't, and they didn't have all that damn order and organization and shit. What you think? Like you think that this motherfucker was as spent out, but no. When you go back and you do the history, they was trying to get motherfuckers to come to Arkansas in 1896, and they might have been they barely had a million people in this whole state. While they sat there and tried to tell us that they had 30 churches. Yeah, 30 churches. And, electric lights and trolley cars. And, you wouldn't believe it, really. I'm telling you. It's the same shit that you see in every fucking where else when you start looking back and doing, when you go and start looking around and doing the research, you're going to see that. Wherever the fuck you are, they had the same shit. Had the same shit. That's why I call it Yucathal audio. Because it's good throughout the whole. And I know what they did now, see? Yeah, they took the good off. They took that EU, they stole that off, man. And inserted the church. Because, see, there was a worldwide understanding. You call it... No, you don't call it universal. You can't call it fucking Catholic. Can't call it... It's got to be Yucathal, because you got to have that EU on the front. Because we're talking about Greek now. And in Greek, that EU is a prefix that stands for bonus. Well, good, however you want to put it. Yeah, shit goes on there. And they took that off, like I said, and they replaced that good with the church. And that's where that's how come that's what happened right there. I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you. Because when you go back and do the research, that Cathol or Catholic, that shit is Greek. So what do you think they did? They turned to grabbed that shit up with that damn vulgar bog Latin. Yeah, yep. And that's what they do. They give it that fucking that vulgar Latin, that law Latin, that apothecary's Latin. Really, anything that's Latin is fucking. It's just a bastardized, adulterated text by design. I mean, that's what it never was anything else. This shit was always a dead language. It was always some shit that they had designed to curse. It's a curse language, man. And that's how they do it. They playing a little bit of word game, but once you bust their ass, once you see what they doing, now The jig is up, man. What they gonna do? What they gonna do? What you gonna do? You can't do shit to me, man. And I know it. So, here we are. Let's see where we're gonna get. Let's see where we're gonna get to. Where we're gonna end up. I know one thing. I'm gonna be
Schools with
standing.
the measles vaccine
I'm gonna
mandate
stay
had
standing.
incidence rates that were up to 51% lower than states without the laws. And from there, school vaccine mandates expanded over the next few decades. But while schools have been requiring vaccines since the mid-19th century, states didn't explicitly have that same power to roll out universal inoculation rules for all residents for another 50 years. In 1905, the Supreme Court case of Jacobson versus Massachusetts set the legal precedent which now allows states to require vaccines.
The Supreme Court said, yes, you can limit individual rights to protect the public health, and one way you can do it in that case is require vaccination.
We've seen states exercise this authority to varying degrees in the years since. Take, for example, the 2019 measles outbreak in New York.
New York imposed a mandate. It imposed an MMR mandate, but it limited it to the neighborhoods where the measles cases were high, and it was accompanied by a $1,000 fine for those who did not have MMR.
Legal experts say that narrowing the vaccine mandate to particular zip codes made it easier to justify in court rather than a statewide mandate. But critics warn that these types of targeted requirements may lead to discriminatory practices.
In general, these
lawsuits.
things are done at the state level, but big cities, for example, also have vaccine laws. When I was the city health commissioner in
None of them have
Washington,
no
D.C.,
damn
although
law.
that certainly functions as a state, we also had vaccine laws in Washington, D.C.
So
Okay.
far, no cities or states have made the COVID vaccine mandatory.
And you
Though
think they're
some
gonna do
places
this on a
have-
fucking vaccine that's got emergency clearance? It ain't even been. They ain't even authorized the shit legitimately yet. Come on, YouTube. Misinformation. Give me a break.
started the conversation. In November 2020, the New York State Bar Association recommended making the shot mandatory for all residents except those with a medical exemption. And then, of course, there's the biggest rulemaker of them all, the federal government, which in this case actually has pretty limited powers expressly spelled out in the Constitution.
There isn't in the Constitution the power to protect the public health.
Well, the federal government doesn't mandate vaccines. What they do is they make recommendations.
There are,
Damn.
however, softer powers at the federal level that had been used before to
Don't
incentivize
take it
mass
from me, take it from
inoculation.
them.
The federal
MSM, they
government
got
has
you.
acted in the public health in the
Mainstream
past
media
in
got you.
other parts, such as its commerce part. So it could, for example, mandate vaccines before you travel in the interstate channels or before you engage in interstate commerce. If you're a truck driver that drives across state, maybe the federal government can mandate that you'll be vaccinated.
The power of the purse is another key tool in Washington's
If
arsenal.
you breaking
It
the law
can
doing a job, you
pass
better
a law
believe they can
saying
fucking, yeah.
States
I mean,
will give you
you're
$3 million
fucked.
if you mandate the vaccine, but that's up to a limit. It can't do it to the degree that's coercive.
The federal government could also, theoretically, impose it as a condition of getting a passport. So states and
If you get
cities
that
can
dumb one.
require vaccines, and the federal government has a lot of influence as well. But the big question is whether the government will actually go through with rolling out a universal mandate.
The first challenge is we won't
They
have
won't.
enough vaccine doses for people who want them. You can't require vaccines that's not available, that people can't get.
Another major
There you go.
factor to consider, none of the 3 COVID vaccines in circulation here in the U.S. are fully licensed by
See?
the FDA.
There you go.
Instead, they are all cleared under something known as an Emergency Use Authorization, or an EUA. Until they are officially
So-
approved, mandates seem to be off the table. And then there's the even bigger question of enforcement.
Mandates, to some degree, depend on pretty widespread compliance. You can't enforce a mandate if 40% of your population is fighting back. If the problem is widespread mistrust, mandate won't
It don't
fix
help to fucking
You
keep
need
censoring me,
communication,
YouTube.
You need education. You need to earn the people's trust.
You
by
ain't doing a very good job,
transparently
YouTube.
Showing them that the vaccine is safe and effective, by explaining to them the process.
shoot yourself in the fucking
of
face,
approving it
YouTube.
and so forth.
And keep in mind, if any city or state did implement a mandate, the kinds of repercussions we're talking about are relatively tame. No one is floating the idea of jail time or coming to your house and holding you down while they administer a shot. Refusal would probably just mean a fine or maybe some sort of other tax or penalty. Experts say it may also mean you are barred from entry to concerts or can't book a seat on certain airlines. In Israel, for example, they use the green passport to allow access to businesses like hotels and restaurants to those who have been vaccinated against the virus or have already had COVID-19.
So what is it you do?
Though, might be tough here in the U.S. So how will this actually play out? Experts tell me the most likely scenario is a repeat of what we've seen in the past. Once the COVID vaccines are fully approved by the FDA, a vaccine may eventually be a requirement for school-aged children in both public and private institutions, starting in daycare and extending to universities. Let's say the city where you live decides against requiring the COVID vaccine. Does that mean you're free from mandatory COVID inoculation? Not necessarily. Your employer may not be willing to take no for an answer. Jacobson was a waitress in Brooklyn and served patrons all through the pandemic. She told NBC New York that while she isn't an anti-vaxxer, she did have concerns about getting the shot because she's trying to get pregnant.
My general manager has told me multiple times it wasn't going to be mandatory.
When her former employer, Red Hook Tavern, asked if she planned to get the vaccine now that it's available for restaurant workers, she shared those worries.
Over the last couple months, I had just heard a few things about how it can affect fertility and pregnancy, and I just wanted to have a better understanding of that and do a little more research. I said that once I had more information, I would definitely be willing to change my mind on getting the vaccine. I expressed that, I understand why they're important. I think that the vaccine's a good thing. I'm not against them.
Within a few days, she received an email from her employer saying that they respected her decision, but they would be terminating her employment because of their new policy to maintain a safe working environment.
I've made it clear to my lawyer that I want to go in whatever direction I think will help the most amount of people have this same situation not happen to them.
CNBC reached out to Red Hook Tavern for comment, and we didn't hear back as of the date of publication. Jacobson's firing appears to be totally legal here in the U.S. I spoke with lawyers across the country, and they all say that their clients are reaching out to them in record numbers to ask what they should do about the vaccine.
Clients of mine that are most interested in making a mandatory vaccine a condition of employment are brick and mortar operations that have a lot of foot traffic from their customers. They view it as a selling point. Look, you can come to our business location and it's safe because all employees have been vaccinated. That's particularly important for restaurants, bars, gyms, and salons. And so my clients in that segment of service industry... Service,
all of them services. I'm telling you, if you got a job, you're doing something fucking wrong. Job is made up shit. They just came up with that yesterday. That's why every fucking time they come on there and they're talking about this, that, and the other thing, want you to vote for them, they talk about that dumb shit. Because, like I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, and people want to they want to argue with me about it like, oh, there's jobs everywhere, dude. Okay. Then how come the unemployment numbers are where they are? And how come you still haven't gave me one of those supposed jobs that isn't actually in reality a service, which means you could be doing that shit on your own for the peoples right there around you and shit, and making your tip money on the side, you know what I mean, so that you can, you could play. Because, I mean, if you go back and you look back in them old historic photos and shit, you're going to see that that's what them peoples was doing. They was cleaning the house too, fucking living life, dude. They was not doing no fucking job. That's not the same thing as work. We all have work we have to do. That's a totally different thing. I said job. That is made up shit for you, so they can fucking sell you some bullshit, and you and not ever have to deliver nothing. You can argue with me all you want. It doesn't change the fucking truth. I don't give a damn, because I know you knuckleheads don't fucking get it. You never will get it. I done told you. I mean, you gonna argue with me, and you, because you can't figure out what I done fucking already done tried to tell you. I done told you how to get your fucking money on day, and you want to argue with me. You're fucking dumb. But it's on your, fuck, man. Turn me off. Leave your shitty ass comment. We don't give a fuck. The people who paying attention, they're like, holy shit. This guy right here, he just told me how to get my motherfucking feet on. He just told me how to get this fucking shit, what they're telling me right here. Make that shit stop. You go get your diplomatic passport, because that's what it is when you do what I'm talking about. You go down to that fucking post office, get your business straight. You don't fill out that fucking form they got for you. No. Hell no. I want the fucking passport would say I can fucking go wherever I want to go, because I'm an ambassador of the United States government. Federally protected. A civilian. Not no damn sovereign citizen shit, because I don't want to get beat up on the side of the fucking road with the dumb shit. I'm not gonna fail. I'm not filling out no stupid ass papers and none of that shit. I'm not doing it. I got all of the documentation. What they give you. They gave you all documentation what you need. You see what I mean? Yeah, you got it. Social security card, birth certificate. That's it. They don't need nothing else. Fuck. And I ain't even got my birth certificate. I don't need that motherfucker. I got my mom. I got my mom and dad. And I got my boys. So fuck it. They're gonna take what I got. Because I'm not fucking going to take nothing else, dude. I don't give a fuck. They got everything what they need, man. And you just going up in there and fucking get them right. Because I can guarantee you they're going to play dumb with you. I mean, that's what they did to me. I mean, I done left 2 or 3 times having to fucking, go back to the drawing board. Ain't going to happen again. Ain't going to happen again. Listen to this fucking sodomite.
Looking hard at making it mandatory as a sales point to their customers.
While this is in part a PR tactic,
just go start
it's
your
also
own
totally
shit, you know
within
what I mean?
an employer's rights
what
to
you're
roll out
supposed to
this
do.
kind
That's
of
the
requirement.
reason why back
Legal
in the day
experts
everybody
say
had a
private
fucking
businesses
business.
have pretty extensive rights. Requiring a vaccine is a health and safety work rule. Employers, like some hospitals, already require employees to get the annual influenza vaccine. So there's precedent that under the law, an employer can force an employee to get vaccinated, and if they don't,
indulging in
fire
criminal
them.
activity
There are a
when you
few
do that
ways that
shit.
employees could apply
That's
to be
why.
exempt from a blanket
I mean-
requirement. If a workforce is unionized, the collective bargaining agreement may require negotiating with the union before mandating a vaccine. Anti-discrimination laws also provide some protections. Now, other employers think that incentives are the better route to widespread inoculation in the workplace. That could mean that if you get the vaccine, you don't have to wear the same level of PPE in the office, or have your temperature taken every day. There's also talk of offering financial perks.
Many of my clients who are struggling with this issue have said, well, while we think it's a good idea to make it mandatory, we are going to make it voluntary, but we're going to try to offer economic incentives, bonuses, as well as paying for the vaccination and offering optionally, if the family wants to have the vaccination, to pay for that too.
Damn.
Also, because an
That oughta-
EUA is
that
not
red
a
flag for
license,
me,
there is a legal question
I'm-
as to whether you can
hang on a
mandate
minute.
an emergency authorization.
Well, they're not a fully licensed product. So the ability to require your employees to be vaccinated will be highly controversial. In fact, I would argue that an employer cannot require you to be vaccinated with anything other than a fully licensed product.
So,
Mandatory
so there you
vaccination
go.
protocols, therefore, may have to wait until the FDA completes the entire approval process for the COVID
And
vaccines.
it's- from the
Ultimately, a
looks
big
of it,
part of
dude,
whether the U.S. achieves herd immunity against the
The
coronavirus
FDA
comes down to whether the population buys into the
I
science.
can't speak for 'em. I
Pfizer
don't know.
and Moderna built their COVID vaccines with a new kind of technology that's never before been licensed in the U.S.
So,
mRNA vaccines
you think
are
they're just
pretty
gonna do it?
revolutionary in the world of medicine. But they also signify a natural progression of science. So far, it
Well,
does seem
I
the
mean,
concerted effort.
she just fucked up when she said that to me, man. Because how the hell do we have a natural progression of science when we have the vaccine and they can't give you no fucking other treatment? They don't know no cure. They ain't even isolated the fucking shit. They haven't even found it yet, for sure. And I mean, this ain't misinformation, YouTube. I fucking know what I'm talking about. Now, how the fuck do you end up with the fucking, the damn, you mean, you can't, you gonna have the prevention before you find a cure, before you fucking find a treatment, before you even fucking locate the shit itself. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude? This is insane, man. This is crazy shit. I'm gonna have to jump off here on this though, because we're gonna get up there to 30 and shit, and I don't want to be up in there all day trying to motherfucking upload this son of a bitch. And probably won't even be able to do it because YouTube shut my channels down, and you gotta verify and qualify and all this dumb shit every time. I ain't even got a phone, but I'm gonna bust on them. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be in here. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get it. Y'all stick with me, man. I'm out.